So you've decided to go with Davinci Resolve? Great choice. In this video, I'll walk you through the basics and get you up and running in just 10 minutes. First things first, head over to the Blackmagic website and download the latest version of Davinci Resolve. I'll drop the link below. There's a paid version available, but honestly, the free version gives you about 90% of the functionality, which is more than enough for most projects. Once you've installed it, you'll see the startup window. This is where you'll create a new project. Just give it a name and hit create. Now, the main interface will open up. While Davinci Resolve is an incredibly powerful tool, it can also be super simple, depending on how you want to use it. Take a look at the bottom of the screen. You'll see different workspaces, each serving a specific purpose. Media, for importing footage. Cut, great for quick, simple edits. Edit, a more advanced editing suite. Fusion, for visual effects. Color, for professional grade color grading. Fairlight, for audio editing. And Deliver, where you will export your final video. Now, having all these different workspaces might seem a little bit overwhelming, but most of the time, you'll probably just find yourself on the edit page, and then when you're done with your video, head over to the deliver page. I would say 90 to 95% of my time is spent in the edit page. So if you're looking for a fast, streamlined workflow, you can skip right to the edit page and import your media directly. All right, setting up your project. Before we bring in any footage, let's tweak some settings. Click the gear icon in the bottom right-hand corner to open up project settings. Here's where you will choose your resolution and your frame rate. Personally, I usually record and edit in 1920 by 1080 at 60 frames per second. But for this tutorial, I will be using some camera footage that was shot in 3840 by 2160 at 30 frames per second. So I'll set my project to match. Now, a good rule of thumb for these settings are that if you're editing gaming footage, the 1920 by 1080 at 60 frames per second is what you're looking to use. And if you're using camera footage, then a safe bet would be 1920 by 1080 at 30 frames per second, especially if you're unsure what the footage was shot in. Also, a quick note, the example footage I used in this video is from one of my favorite travel vloggers and not my own. His link will be in the description. Also, make sure proxy media resolution is set to either quarter or half, and that proxy media format is set to H.264 and not DNX HRHQX, which is overkill for basic previews. Hit save and we're good to go. Now let's bring in some footage. Open the media pool on the left. If you don't see it, just click on it to make it appear. Now drag and drop your video files into the project. If a pop-up asks whether you want to match the project's frame rate to your footage, click change to keep things consistent. At any time, you can drag in more videos, photos, or audio files. To preview a clip, just double-click it in the media pool and scrub through it using the viewer. All right, editing basics. Time to start editing. Drag your first clip from the media pool to the timeline. It doesn't have to start at the very beginning. I usually leave a little bit of space just in case I want to add something at the start later. The blue tracks indicate video and the green tracks indicate audio. To play back your footage, move the playhead along the timeline or hit spacebar for real-time playback.
What's going on, guys? We're going to learn how to press the spacebar. So you want to get your finger and then you want to go...
This is putrid.
Voila.
You can also zoom in and out of your timeline using the plus and minus buttons over here on the right, or left alt scroll wheel up and down. If you need to cut a clip, select the blade tool or press B on your keyboard. Click where you want to cut, then press backspace to remove the unwanted section. Pro tip here, make sure linked selection is on so your video and audio cut together. What this does is it combines the audio and video tracks together as one, so any changes you make will automatically be applied to both. To trim clips, however, just hover over the start or end, then drag left or right. If you have two clips back to back, you can adjust the transition between them by dragging the edge at the point where they meet. Want to rearrange clips? Simply drag them left or right on the timeline or stack them above each other for B-roll overlays.
No, lad, welcome to Shanghai. Bruh.
If you simply just drag one clip on top of the other, only the one clip will show, but sometimes I leave the first video track underneath still there without deleting it, just in case I decide I want to go back and use that instead. All right, managing audio. If your clip has an audio track you don't need, like for example, background noise and B-roll,
Because when you Google what are the world's...
Turn off linked selection. Select just the audio and press backspace. To add background music, drag an audio file into the media pool or directly onto the timeline. By default, it might be too loud.
Bruh, You know I'm scared of heights, but I'm trying to get near this edge. Oh!
However, you can lower the volume by dragging this white decibel line down. I usually set music to anywhere between -25 dB and -30 dB, so it doesn't overpower the dialogue. But in this case, the music is relatively soft, so I only lower the volume to -20 dB.
Bruh, you know I'm scared of heights, but I'm trying to get near this edge.
If you want your music to fade in or out, you'll notice this white keyframe marker here. Just drag it across, and as you can see, it's fading the music in over 6 seconds.
Bruh, you know I'm scared of heights, but I'm trying to get near this edge. Oh!
You'll see one at the very end as well, which will fade your music out. You can adjust the length of the fade by simply just dragging it further left or closer right to make it shorter. Need to unbalance even audio? Use keyframes to adjust specific loud or quiet sections. For this example, you'll notice that this section here is a bit quieter than the audio that's to its left and right. To change that, navigate your playhead to the beginning of the quiet portion and click on the audio clip. Then, up here next to the volume bar, click the keyframe icon. Next, navigate your playhead to the end of the quiet portion and do the same. Finally, add some bumper keyframes, one right after the first keyframe and one just before the last keyframe. Then, just raise the volume to match the rest of the clip. The bumper keyframes are to add a smooth transition from the original volume level and the new one, so there isn't an abrupt change in volume. If you want an automatic fix, try the dialogue leveler in the audio menu, though I find manual adjustments more precise. Adding text and transitions. To add titles, head to the Effects tab, choose Titles, and preview different styles by hovering over them. Drag your chosen text effect onto the timeline above your video, then customize the font, color, and size.
Welcome to Shanghai.
For smooth scene transitions, go to Video Transitions in the Effects tab. Just drag a transition between two clips, and it'll apply automatically.
One of the world's tallest hotels.
Or at the start or end of any clip. For example here, to make this clip fade in.
Hotels. Because when you Google what are the world's tallest hotels, only
or to make it fade out.
That are specifically.
The next tab is Fusion, and this is for more advanced effects, which I won't be able to cover in this tutorial. But if you're a beginner just starting out, I would recommend that you use the built-in effects here on the edit page. For general uses, when it comes to effects and stuff, you can get the same job done in a way easier fashion. Next, color correction. And this is what Davinci Resolve first became known for as the world's best color correction software. There's a lot of menus here and so much you can do with your color correction. If you're just starting out though, I would recommend keeping things as simple as possible. So if you're new to this, start with the color wheels. Temperature, this adjusts how warm or cool the image looks. Contrast controls the difference between light and dark areas. Shadows and highlights helps balance bright and dark parts of your image. And color boost, which is a great one for enhancing colors to be a bit brighter and more vivid. Want to apply color adjustments to multiple clips? Hold Control or Command if you're on Mac and select them, then adjust the settings all at once. If you look at the before and after, there is already a massive difference after just 60 seconds of color correction. Now, there's just one more step to complete your first edit. Before that, I went ahead and took 10 minutes to finish editing this short example using the steps taught in this tutorial. If you're interested in seeing it, it will be at the end of the video. Alright, last step, the deliver page. Once you're happy with your edit, head over to the delivery page to export your video. If you have a clean timeline, the in and out points will be set automatically, but sometimes I have clips that didn't make the cut just randomly at the end of the video that I was too lazy to delete. So then I would just drag the out point over to its correct position, or simply click where I want the out point to be and press O on my keyboard. Next, choose the H.264 codec for a good balance of quality and file size, or H.265 for slightly enhanced quality. After that, double check your resolution and frame rate settings to make sure they match what you set your timeline to. Then you name your file, pick a save location, and click Add to Render Queue. Finally, hit Render All, and that's it. You've just completed your first edit in Davinci Resolve.
Bruh, you know I'm scared of heights, but I'm trying to get near this edge. Oh! Welcome to China, lad. Welcome to Shanghai. Bruh, this is putrid. I am in the world's third highest hotel. Let me differentiate that from the world's tallest hotels. Because when you Google what are the world's tallest hotels, only buildings that are specifically hotels from bottom to top will come up. Because the difference between the top 3 highest hotels is they're in buildings that are much more than hotels. So I'm in the Grand Hyatt in Shanghai right now. This doesn't start until the 60th floor. So you got to go to the 60th floor and then it becomes the Grand Hyatt. And then there's another like 40 stories of the Grand Hyatt. So if you're going off what hotels are the highest up, this is the 3rd highest in the world, cuz. Look at this. See this building right here? Straight across from us? I can't even go to the edge. That's the Shanghai Tower. That is legitimately the world's 3rd tallest building. You know, there's the Burj Khalifa. There's I don't know what the 2nd one is. And then that's the 3rd. It's like 700 meters tall or something ridiculous.
Davinci Resolve is a powerhouse editor that can be as simple or as advanced as you need. The fact that it's free makes it an unbeatable choice for content creators and professionals alike. Personally, when I got into editing, I was looking into both Davinci Resolve and Adobe Premiere Pro, as they're both super competitive. I ended up going with Davinci Resolve for many reasons. But the main 2 reasons were, 1, how good the free version is. You can put the free version up with like many of the different video editors, and it's probably goddamn near the top. And the second big reason was the fact that it doesn't have a monthly subscription. Get your shit together, Adobe. Oh, that was 1 point? I guess that ties into, god damn it. The second reason was that I just enjoyed the look of Davinci's UI over Adobe's UI. It looked more comfortable, if that makes any sense. Adobe's UI, alien technology. If you're interested in more video editing tips by me, leave a like and a comment down below and let me know what you want to see next. So you've decided, god damn, dude, this is hard. I need like a teleprompter, big ass teleprompter. This might all be chalked footage. Hands, what am I doing with my hands? Oh my god.